Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Monster Energy DreamHack Studios. My name is Richard Sims, and this is Martin Avenger, not saying his second name. Welcome to day number 2 of the European Qualifiers. Martin, what a wild and wonderful day number 1 we had.
Indeed. I hope for some crazy games, but we had insane games. Some favorites doing really good. Some favorites taking some chicken dinners. But, I mean, looking at the top 6, it's kind of the teams I expected to do really good, but maybe not in that order necessarily.
But the thing about PUBG is anything can happen. This is day 2. We've got a fresh set of eyes. Same teams, but again, a fresh day. It's Sunday. The teams have been given a bit of a chance to relax, potentially go over, have a look at some of the VOD last night, maybe discuss some of the mistakes they made. Guarantee certain teams, like, one that always springs to mind is Rogue, for instance, with Minimum on there. You know for a fact he's going to be going over. What can we do better? What can we improve on?
Yeah. That's one of the great things about having a fifth/coach/analyst that you can bring, and also he's going to be watching them live, so he can give them feedback between the games as well, so you can improve all the games instead of you have to wait till the second day and use 4 hours going through all the VODs. You can do it immediately. You're going to have the fifth, the sub there, or the coach analyst. Is just so helpful.
A couple of standout performances. I think we have to mention, obviously, Liquid back-to-back in the first 2 games.
Yeah,
like that's
15 and 17. That's absolutely amazing.
It's balmy. And then Gaxi. I think we have to mention Gaxi.
I think Gaxi was the individual MVP of yesterday. He definitely pulled through for Kingo, and he had 23 kills, I believe, in 5 games.
That's mad.
That's insane. It's the same
really
amount of kills he had in the Global Loot League finals. He had 23 there.
Which is quite good to see, because we are seeing this where a team can, kind of go to an event, get the land jit as such, get the first event under the belt, and then kind of move on from there. I always kind of think it could have been beginner's luck, who knows, but I always think about FaZe, how they went to IEM, got their first chicken dinner on LAN, and then moved to their next event after that. Once they got that chicken dinner, once the gate had been open, kind of proved themselves. We can do this, boys. We're with a team.
Kept it up.
Bump. They won the next event they attended. So thinking things like that, it's good to see these teams go to LAN and see they progress. This is why I'm quite excited to see Liquid at their next event, because you think, all right, they have to. You're only as good as your last performance.
Yeah.
Well, their last performance was second on LAN. So if we're running by that one, Liquid have got not necessarily a lot to prove, but certainly it's an exciting team to see where we actually go from there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, let's have a quick recap and have a look at the scores from yesterday. We'll bring up the table and show you how things are currently sitting. So, at the top, that green bar is exactly where these teams want to be if they want to be booking a ticket to DreamHack Austin after this next best of 5 today. Team Liquid, 2,143 points. Good Lord, that's the money. That's the money right there. 600 points in front of anybody else. It's just 400 points. No, was that 600? I'm right. 600 points in front of anybody else. That's wild. Team Kingwin with a win of themselves, 1,500. Below them, FaZe Clan also a win, 1,288, dropping down 4th, 5th, and 6th respectively. Na'Vi, Vitality, and Rogue, all with 1,000 points each. And then we break off the pack here, Martin. 7, 8, 9, 800, 600, 600.
Yeah. Definitely, as you see here, the top 6, even the top 7 here, they're so close and so far ahead of everything and everyone else. But still, Liquid, a 600-point lead down to number 2. That's insane.
So the only way they're really going to drop, theoretically, is if an 8th. If they have storming games.
All 3 other teams need to really be insane.
But the other teams need to do really bad as well.
They
need to kind of be going out in 16 to 4. There's a lot to be said for consistency, and the amount of times we would see over and over again, it would be, top 3 finishes, top 4 finishes, not necessarily with the wins, but always there. And it kind of just speaks volumes for not only the consistency, but the amount of kills they pick up on the way.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Do you consistent come top 8-ish with some kills here? They're just going to be through just by that. They don't even need the wins.
Yeah,
but I think, they have the momentum, they are hungry, and they want to prove themselves through a qualifier as well.
Which is, it kind of, coming into this, obviously, no one's qualified just yet. We need to make that very, very clear. There's still 5 more games to go. But having a 600 buffer it's going to make you feel comfortable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's not going to be as much pressure on. Still the pressure because these guys want to go to land. They want to take
They
their
also
placement.
want to win the qualifier. It's a huge accomplishment. Also winning the qualifier, being the best in the qualifier, because this is 16 really, really good teams as well.
It is. We've kind of had a few jokes now. It's becoming with these qualifiers and these online events where they're literally starting to look like LAN events. You know, the teams are constantly going up against one another, and this is why I think personally we had amazing games yesterday, because we had 16 of the best just kicking and battering the living hell out of one another. And honestly, we had some very, very, very good games. A lot of M24s in play. We saw the AWM.
The Orcs.
He'd be unfortunately shooting his teammate in the back of the head, but we won't speak about that too much.
No, just mentioning a bit.
AUGs though. AUGs for days.
I was actually surprised at how many of these crate guns we saw in use, because usually they're kind of left outside and they're not picked up as often. But we really saw a lot of crate weapons being used and utilized in mid and end game.
It's one thing that we didn't really see is no one kind of debating them, so to speak. No one using them to let a team pull up to it. It was always, rather than a team, always one individual, rather than sending a whole squad over there, always one individual. Fair play to them. And yeah, rather than just leaving them or using for bait, teams were taking full advantage of the utility, getting these guns, racking up the kills. Really quickly to note, one person who didn't have the best of games, but again, it was his job at the end of the day, is Gemty yesterday. Yeah. Was it 4 times he died pretty early on?
3 that he died really early on. I think he was the first one to die at least 4 times. He successfully scouted for his team, made sure that these guys didn't crash into a compound. But I mean, it's kind of like that's the idea also of the scouting. But also, imagine if you have 4 guys bum rushing a compound. He might have survived some of these times, because it was only 1 or 2 guys in these compounds. One of the later games was where they avoid these compounds because of Gemty, but if they bum rush and try to breach, they might be able to pick him up.
I think in the terms of FaZe's placement, dying for a purpose, because he was being the scout, he was being the leader of the pack, and if he hadn't have died, in his life up for the greater good of helping the rest of the team out. And so you can't say, oh, he just kept dying. Job at the end of the day, and thus we saw obviously FaZe finishing 3rd yesterday, but can they stay there? We'll soon find out. Ladies and gentlemen, please tweet this stream, use the hashtag DX. I can't remember what it is, I'm not going to go through it.
DX18.
There you go, you're on the top of it. Make sure you're following DreamHack PUBG on Twitter. Tweet this stream. Let's get some good viewership. I think we were hitting around 8K yesterday. Well, this is Championship Sunday. We can do better than that. I want to see 10K plus. The bird, she's left the tarmac. She's in the air. She's coming across from the bottom area. So we're looking at Primorsk and going diagonally from southwest up to northeast, ending just below Kameshki. Avenger, Martin, talk to me.
I mean, we're going to see the Na'Vi boys go Primorsk, obviously. No contests there. And I don't expect a lot of teams to do a lot of contesting today, to be honest. There's not a lot of fighting early. There's no extra prizes for getting these early kills. So you want to loot. You want to make sure you have good loot. You want to make sure that you get your cars. You want to make sure you drop for these vehicles, which is super important, which you see Liquid doing. Look at Liquid here. There. So they are 100% sure they're not being contested, but they're dropping for all these cars, all these workers, which is super important.
As you mentioned, rather than just dive bombing into a little town or village, they'll go get the vehicles and they can use that utility to rotate later on, or potentially just use them as defensiveness. You know, build yourself a little fort. Even if those vehicles blow up in front of your eyes, you've still at least can build a little barrage between them. Once they've blown up, step away from them, let the explosion go, then you go back and use them as a brick wall, so to speak. We've seen that plenty of times. Liquid, they do this every single time. They'll grab the UAs, at least 2 of them. They'll move together, move back to Yasnai, and then be able to lure it out. Interesting that they'll have to at least be prepared to take a fight should it come their way. The Knights, they're still chilling on the side. They're going to be happy doing the usual thing. FaZe down in Milter, Vitality, Milter as well, FaZe Milter Power. The one team or 2 teams that may have a little bit of difficulty.
Super good long rotations and macro play. They prefer going on foot. So having these really, really far circles is not something they prefer. This is what they are this is their weak spot, kind of. But Navi, they're a strong team. They're really good aimers, and they're really frag out once they get on foot. But what they're going to be looking at here, they're probably going to go in a bit later than everybody else, and they're going to be coming into those dense areas where there are already people.
I suppose the big bonus of Primorsk where they are is the fact that there's usually 9 times out of 10 there's always at least 2 vehicles down there. You might sometimes have to go across to the other side, further towards the west coast, to pick up one of the UAZs or the buggies that are there. But even if they only get 1 vehicle amongst them, doing the drive past Ferry Pier, you've just got vehicles. You've got so many chances of getting to spawn that 9 times out of 10 these guys are going to be able to pick up at least 3 vehicles, so they can travel separately, they can traverse across the map, they can always make it to the circle. They're not a team that, as you mentioned, necessarily gets battered upon arrival to the circle, but they always have that utility and do turn up in vehicles, which is kind of what we saw yesterday between Navi and Avanga. And we have seen in past, and when you talk about their long rotations, they do get caught in vehicles, and quite a lot of times we'll see a few of them dying to it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of the CIS story. They're insane fraggers, but they need to improve on their macro play here. But this is actually one of the first circles we've seen that are even close to being Crimson here. So I'm excited to see if Crimson are going to change up a bit, because Crimson is usually a team that go extremely late. They always come late in circles. They loot all the time they need. But once they get these circles, they sometimes go super early to the circle and take a good position in it. Gen side here also moving pretty early, going to the Heaven compound or the backflip hill or what you want to call it. Oh, big. Oh, yeah. Oh.
He's fine. He's good.
He's good.
He's got his driving license. It's all good. Heaven is an insanely good compound. Like, it's really, really good. Like a little king of the castle kind of player.
It was actually that good, so they needed to fix it a bit because it was too good. So they added a big forest east of it.
Yes.
Before that, the Heaven was just way too strong, and you couldn't really get close to it anyway. So now they added the forest there and a lot of small dips and divots and everything. So they added that, and now it's not as good, but it's still super, super strong. You can't really creep up on it. You really need to breach it on some of those really high hills.
I've seen quite a few times now the airway breach, where you just literally will take a vehicle, hit the ramp, and you can actually hit the roof and land. So a few people time and time again been able to breach it from that manner. That to me looks like a 249, which it is indeed. So Ghillie Soup, level 3 chest as well, 55% damage reduction on that one. M249, talk to me a bit about this gun, Martin. Would you say, without question, one of the strongest, especially with the Kama, are in competitive?
Yeah. I mean, having 100 bullets in your chamber is just insane. Also, it does a bit more damage than the other 5.5 guns, and it's just so good for spraying down weapons. So is the AK here. Kavalka taking some shots at Havu, making sure that they don't come close. Kavalka and the guys from Noxious, talking about those guys, they do the lumber mill split. They take the shooting range, they take the serving area, and the mansion east of it as well. Havu on the drill. They're moving early. Not what you usually see them do. They usually reside down in Primorsk, but now that Navi is taking over, they went to the other loot spot, which is the Rorschach Atlantis split.
Like
Cloudtail.
Cloudtail's going to get this drop, so that'll be a 249 for him. Level 3 helmet as well, so GG. He's going to be... Oh, your boy's going to be geared. 3, 3, and a 2 on the back. Frying pan as well for Boot, 249. And again, when you do lay down with this gun, it will put the little legs out, which I think is 80%.
That's insane.
It's ridiculous. That laying down with this gun is mental. Like, the amount of times you will see, and we talk about the cars and the vehicles, how important they are in PUBG. This gun will shred. It will literally shred vehicles in an instant. And even when you're going up close and personal against players, it will still just... It's like, because you would think, oh, big heavy machine gun, it's going to be all over the place. This has more accuracy than an AKM. It's like a laser beam, and you just completely cut people down your path. So we'll see how this one goes down.
Insane.
What, sorry?
Yeah, drop shots with this gun is insane.
Literally,
people
when
that
you
are
go
really
down,
good at
put
like
the
hitting
sticks
drop.
out.
Yeah.
It's
but
mental.
it just drop to the floor and like that's insane. I love it.
Minigun under the arms. Happy days for them. Team's starting to now move closer to the circle. You see the rotations beginning. Avanga will probably come in quite late because they did take quite a long drive. Oh, is it a tyre burst? I think it is. Shades had his tyre tanked. That came in a couple of patches ago. The tyres on the vehicles can now be bust. Same for the bike as well, and it will flip them. I see some blood there, so not only is he bust the tyre, but he's struggling on the little bumps through the Pachinki fields. They can cause problems. You might see, look, there you go again. Another player goes flying through these. Pachinki driving through it through the cornfields is a bit of a pain in the backside. What does it say we call them cornfields? But because of the divots as you go through, it can cause all kinds of problems. Shade Force to be picked up by one of his teammates. The only downside to this, good side, they can get away with it. Downside is when you're on the back of the buggy.
Exposed.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's insane. You're fully exposed. You're easy for spray down. And also, I mean, the buggy it's a little stronger on Miramar, but here it's 2 shots on the tires, and they pop, and then you just spin out, and you just die of it.
Bouncy, bouncy.
The Imperial boys.
Imperial, yep. Having their move. Again, not opting to take, because there's some nice little, as you go across this bridge, you've got the nice little compounds around the garage area, so not opting to take those compounds, opting to still keep mobile. Cloudtail splitting off from the rest of the pack, so he's probably going to scout exactly who's down there. Might potentially be a little bit of a scout on the bridge camp side. Joski and the Havu, Sauna boys, as we used to call them before they got picked up by Havu. And see that Knights are on the opposing side. It looks like Knights, no, you say that might be a couple of shots from Drayden from that angle. Gent side defending Heaven. James has come on the scout and he's saying, okay, there's boys there. Don't go there, lads. Oh, that's blood. James in a few problems. 8 times on the scout as well. Excuse me, 4 times on the scout, 8 times on the mini and the opposing player. Vic again with a warning shot. So keeping locked down. I like that from Liquid. You look at where they are. They're in Yasnaya. They've got their entire city to themselves.
Yeah.
But they're still sent. Look at where Samty is as well.
Yeah.
So Samty and Gene still going out and kind of preempt him where potential places are that they could go. Even though they're dead center, even though they have a city and they're not being tactically pushed by anybody, they're still preempting where they could go to. So send 2 scouts out like that. It kind of speaks volumes. Oh, Gaxy's dead. First person to fall. Liquid, excuse me, Kingwin, they lose 1. That's going to be to Noctiv, so 12 points go in the favor of Evanga.
Indeed. Rogue here, of course, going to rotate in far. And Lipovka has been left by the Knights. Knights, I saw that Survivor is not playing with them today. They are subbing, Avian is subbing for them. So Avian, the former Digital Chaos player, is now subbing and playing with the Knights. And they have a really, really good position here. They have a 2-2 split going, somewhat a little to the east of the middle, but still in a really good position. What I saw with Liquid as well, when you run touch upon fast as well, you have the Yasnaya here. It's kind of what's centered on the east side, but a bit more left. But what they do is they send out scouts for if it pops away from them. So if it pops south, east, if it pops east, in these positions here where they can stay in Yasnaya, they're going to send scouts off to that and make sure that they might have a compound to go to there. So Samty's already on the northern side. They just wanted somebody on the southeastern side as well.
I mean, I respect it. It's not just kind of hoping that the circle comes to you. It's preempting where it may go. Obviously, as Martin said, they are in the north, but if it does have a hard shift down to the south, but they're dead centre, so regardless where this circle's going to go, there's still going to be somewhere in it. There isn't enough room for it to swing away from them, so sitting happy for now. A few more seconds, that circle will clench in on them. At the moment, we've got, looks like, Keen on the far side, still out in the open. We did say that Evanga will be coming in rather late. They don't appear to be moving, so maybe a little bit of a problem there for Evanga. We will kind of watch them and see how that one goes. A Noctiv here. Speaking of Evanga, level 3 helmet. We got the double M4 Metra as we spoke about yesterday. Silencer as well. Vertical grip and the angled grip. So you were speaking about this yesterday, Martin. This has been a bit of a viable setup for teams now, the double M4.
Yeah, I mean, the double M4 is it's just so good. Oh, and look at that new circle here. It's gone shrinking all the way south here. So the guy's already moving. So T-Bone taking some shots. Is Obi connecting 3 shots as well. Imperial are forced to move away from now. Oh, Obi taken out by T-Bone. Fantastic shots by T-Bone right here. They're going to finish him and pick up those 12 points. But yeah, it does, the shrink here, really far south. These teams are going to move, and they're just going to move as fast as they can. And Yannick as well taking out Crimson. Vitality losing a player as well from Liquid. Yannick taking out MBS, finishing him off. Breach together, they had EB on the western side, that Samty on the eastern side, and James was on the north side, while Scoom was in the hills. So kind of unfortunate. I'm not sure it's because they didn't scout it out first or because Vitality breached them first, but there's really an unlucky gunfight here for Liquid. Look at Kinkwin doing the all the way around Stalpa coming in from the north. And the red zone in a super good position, dead center as well. Gen side still on the heaven area, of course. Kingpin is going to make their way in, and I don't think they're going to go bomb rushing something in the middle now. They're going to go to the edge and then wait for the next circle to pop.
It looks like Plumbers are also doing the kind of the opposite. Fuffens hop, skip, and a jump, and survives literally by the skin of his teeth. Doesn't give Crimson the points. They will be denied that 12. But yeah, going back to what I mentioned over Plumbers, they're doing a very, very wide rotation on the south of the circle, still outside in the blue. They'll be coming in very, very soon. Puffins gets caught for a second, so they know where he is, but he's done the task. He got themselves a little compound, so at least he's now got the cover. Kingwin are also going to go flying by. They've heard the shot, so they don't necessarily going to say they didn't want to go for this compound. It looks like Vard fancies otherwise. He's been tapped as well. He's gone round the back. Whether or not Puffins can actually get an angle on him, there is options for Vard if he needed to. He can ditch it into the water. Nope, he steps out. Puffins says, welcome. This is my house, my friend. Thank you for your loot. Thank you for your points. I'll take your box. GG, mate. So 12 points moving to the hands of Rogue. Kingwin, they'll lose one player. Rogue's still out on the top there. Fuffens is outside the circle. That's the only problem for him being inside that compound. But clearly, had to split up from the rest of the team, Martin.
Yeah. I mean, Kingwin here, Miracle is just going to stop on the edge. He really can't go far and deep. And Larsen is already in the south as well. But Crimson really putting pressure on both Rogue and Kingwin. What I was kind of wondering about, though, as well, was you saw Rogue being super, super far north in the zone. And coming from military, I actually expected them to stop around Lipovka and maybe go to that area, or even in the southeastern side of the old zone about north of Military Power. But they opted to go all the way north and take like a middle eastern position on that.
12 points for Knights. We did just see Havoki die. It was a knock and a kill from two separate players, so the Knights working as a pair here to try and clean them up. Drop's going to come in. Havu do have the drop, but at this stage
it's a really good area to go to, and you have a lot of open space to play at as well.
One person to note, Scoom is literally about to drive directly past Monkey, so Monkey knows exactly what's going on here. Scoom is just kind of a bit of a needle in a haystack. Take a look at Yuki's POV. Plumbers here looking to try and potentially flush some people out, which they have done. The team that we're focused on has moved now, so hop, skip, and a jump away from the circle, so happy days for them. PG Minota sees Cloudtail on the way by through the rotation, ends his life, knocks him off the bike and kills him. M4 to boot, grip on hand as well with a red dot, so happy for him. 2-2 as well, and 2 on the bag. Jump away, Drayden. Unfortunately, his vehicle will explode, so 12 points go to Crimson. Fuffens again, second time he's ending a player from the side of... Looking for a Kobe. Dink, it comes out. He's aware of it though. Oh, the vehicle drives over it. Doesn't do any damage, so compound battle here. Red zone versus Genside, Martin.
Gavin here, there are two guys, and they just got... Genside just crashed this compound here. I wouldn't say it's worth it at this current time, because they're going to lose all their vehicles doing this. Makan is going to run away because the guys are further southwest than this. Frost was down in it, Zed is there, and they're just going to run away and let Genside get this compound here. They're going to lose their cars though. All these tires are going to be popped because they're not going to be able to get their cars in. They lost the bike though, so they have one bike inside.
One thing to note, they're still throwing grenades, so they don't know that those players are disconnected from the fight. Fuffen's coming down now. A Noctiv knocks Araxe from Vitality. Ooh, second one there for Avanga. So Monkey and Araxe down for Vitality. But we see the kills come through though. The knocks are certainly there. There's one. Dees comes in. Obviously replacement for Drainers as he moves on to Navi. A Noctiv onto the second one as well. So 24 points to Avanga. 2 people dead there, unfortunately, for Vitality. It's quite early on when there's still 16 teams standing. Where's Scoom at? Is he still...
he's in the shelter, yeah. He's
in the
shelter.
So
He's hoping. He's hiding, of course. He's hoping for these southern strings to continue. We have seen some of these southern strings in the past time here, but 2 in a row. The next, if it's going to go south again, it's really going to favor him a lot. Be very lucky, but we'll see for the next one. Red zone here. They're dead center in this super big warehouse here. The thing is, though, with this... it's really hard to exit from as well. You have so open space around it. 200 meters all around is just open space. So, of course, they have some cars in there as well. I think they're going to be able to rotate from it.
It's pretty nasty in it when you just kind of... I mean, it's good that you can keep the positive is that you can keep the vehicles inside and you can keep those tires not pop. So if you do have the vehicles, there is an exit strategy of being able to just blast it out and try and get away with your life if you have plenty of vehicles. But as you say, if you're on foot, you're buggered because it's just a firing squad. As soon as you step out of there, you're in open space unless you can get round the back of it and disconnect. And the circle, but that literally revolves around the circle, revolving around that place and being able to actually move towards it. Havu will get pushed out of their compound and slowly into the circle, but they've got plenty of time. They're on a faster side of it. Rogue are on the extremely slow side, so they can just slow walk it in. Look at FaZe. We haven't spoken about FaZe, and they've barely moved. They've obviously moved from their usual place, which is down in Milter Power. They've just chilled and crept along the side of the rocks through their little mansion compound as you work your way towards the prison. And they're all just chilling. 4 players alive. Jempty's not dead yet.
Nope,
so
it's a good thing.
It's positive.
Yeah.
Things are looking positive for the FaZe clan. No scope, it's still a 2 times, but it's not the best of scopes in the world. Circle does shrink, still going south, a bit more towards the center, but still south. Kavorka onto I don't really mind from Havu. One player's going to try and at least get his teammate up, his fallen comrade. They will be able to do that, I think, because they do have a vehicle. Jorski also falls, so that's not good. They're getting hit by 2 different points here. That's why they're panicking.
Kavorka's going to take some shots with I think that's Crimson on that side, yeah. So Havu is here on the northeastern side. Crimson is on the eastern side, putting some pressure onto them as well. But with the topography of the map here, there's some hills and some small ridges, so they're going to be able to pick all their team members up as well. Crimson outside, they have to run open space here, and this is where FaZe really likes to play this prison hills. You have so much elevation, so you can basically look all the way through these hills here. The only thing is going to avoid them from seeing it is some few trees here and there.
Havu may have just been given a second life by FaZe. The fact that they're shooting at Crimson and Crimson have to move away from this, Havu are actually going to be able to get both their players up from 2 down. Number 249, sniper rifle suppressor also. We'll see if anyone goes for that. However, it's outside the next circle unless FaZe want to do a slow creep to it. But honestly, I wouldn't have thought they would because of where the circle is and because it's now really time to play. Haksete comes through with a knock and the flush as well from Jempty. Pybas, he's gone. See you later, my friend.
FaZe is really good. They're really able to be able to push Crimson here so much. Reels as well is going to take a long rotation, and he's going to be good. It looks like he's going straight for the drop here. I don't think so, though.
1, 2, 3 different players.
Oh, he's going to be driving straight in between FaZe. Reels taken out by Jempty. Oh, it's going to be flushed as well by Haksete.
That's 1 kill going to FaZe. Hayes onto Suntouch as well. Suntouch from Imperial. Vehicle explosion. First team to fall during all of that was Crimson. Unfortunately, they were stuck between a rock and a hard place, disconnecting from Havu. They end up finding both FaZe, Kavorka, and even Crimson. Gent side now taking a peek at Havu. 1, 2 Havu members. Oh, Vitality, Shiv and Shadow, both continuous. Again, Drainy's onto both of them as well. Drainy's picking up the double kill there. Knocks out Vitality in 15th place. Jempty stepping up. That's going to be Jorski. He's down, he's dead. Kavorka also, he falls victim. 13th place there. Mirasu back onto Mumino, so Avanga now feeling the strong arm there, unfortunately, but Jempty still, FaZe clan picking it apart. 2 teams there simultaneously. All comes down to Havu, though. Martin, they're outside the circle. They've got to fall. They've got to run from 2 different teams.
Yeah, and Miracle as well. He is outside the zone. He has 100 meters open space. Oh, he died, yeah.
Yep.
Jempty stole that. No, that's Havu. Yeah, they died. But Miracle here also is still outside the zone. And Avanga here, they're just going to really gatekeep him. So we're down to 12 teams already, 37 players live.
And while all this is happening, remember, Skoom is still just
inside the
chilling.
shelter.
He's just hiding. Look at him. In fact, we can see him there. Hello. He's like, please don't come down here. Please don't. Good work from the observers. Just put on the X-ray. You can just see him lay down, praying that no one sees him. Meanwhile, Rogue, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Stab takes a bullet from the Kar 98, drops down like, oh God, please. I have a level 3. I have a gun. What gun's he got? He's probably got a 24 or something. Sorry, not a 20. Though, however, he might be able to use the tunnels just to get inside the circle, but it's not something you really want to necessarily do, because if the circle does at least lock you inside there, I've seen it before where teams are like, okay, well, we're inside bunkers, we'll keep hiding, but then you run outside and you have to literally go out into the blue, and it will just murder them on approach.
Yeah, Rogue here taking some shots at FaZe. FaZe shooting back as well. FaZe is in a really, really good position here. I know they like playing this area because it's open area, but also they have the hillside here, so they're able to scout everything here. Red zone still inside the zone. Gen side, they're making an early move trying to get into the zone here. Maybe they're trying to just sneak in and make a bit of a fortress here. Egidob, yeah, he wants to make a fortress. be on Eggidorp. They spotted him, and Gavin is going to take out Eggidorp. That surely must be one kill for Red Zone as well.
Just clips him through the edge of the grass underneath the cow. Quite surprised that Eggidorp didn't blow out the tyres, to be honest, to at least, you know, if you do shoot the tyres out on your vehicles, the vehicles will go on a slant, which allows you to cover that tiny little gap up, and you won't take bullets. He did obviously avoid the explosion. Now here we see Navi coming in, tank buster from Mihao. Does get away with his life somehow. Drain, he's literally one bullet and a dream away from dying. Tap, tap, tap. Yokis comes through. Frozer's going to fall as well over inside that bunker. You can see Macken straight onto Keen. Macken also onto Keen himself, so a trade-off there.
Oh, D's also taking out. That's a Vanguard in 11.
He has them gone. Oh, that's not good at all. Okay, so the CIS boys fall victim out with the top 10. Mexi back onto Drainies as well. Now it's moving on to another CIS team. Navi having problems of themselves. They're in the line of sight of FaZe. Going to try and pinch them off. DC have the edge of a compound. Yannick gets the blunt end of a bullet from a scar from Awen. 31 players alive. Jempty leaning in the corner here on this rock, trying to take a peek at the Knights. Lets them know they're here. Does have a bit of cover from that burning vehicle as well. Split into a little 2-2 split, which is fair play for FaZe. Ewan as well, so DC now. Shade one, finds one. Can he find more? We'll keep an eye on that kill feed, see how this fight goes down on that compound breach. Fausto finds Shade though with the Kobe grenade, throws it outside the window. Trying to get a kill of himself here from FaZe. Going to try and Kobe some stuff down on the opposing side, but look at that compound fight going on between Digital Chaos and
position. If they fall out now, that's really not what they want to make sure that they're staying in the top 5.
Especially when DC's hot on the heels as well.
Because DC's on 7th, yeah, and I think that Navi's 5th or 4th.
Interesting. Play zone knocks Misete a little bit further out. 1-2 people though. Yannick and Jazza. Oh, hang on a minute. That was Yannick's own grenade, so he knocked himself and knocked his teammate. That's not good at all.
Maybe he thought it was a smoke. Like I said, he's going to be taken out by the play zone as well. Yannick is both Yannick and Jazza there knocked here. Maybe it was because Yannick tried to either smoke or tried to do that. It's going to be finished off as phosphate, so he's going to pick up 24 points right there.
A little bit of a bad mistake there. However, we've all done it. We've all been there. Mistakes do happen. The Knights, they do have a little bit of a hill, so they can play off the back of the defile. They've got a tree, they've got a vehicle as well, should they need to move. But you don't want to be getting a vehicle this late on because it will get battered and destroyed. 10 teams, 26 alive. Jempty again onto Gent side. Eggidorp, he goes down. That's the M16 silence with the tap fire you can hear in the background. Fuzzfizz here with the 2 times. Now the circle shift. We were speaking about this compound earlier, Martin. Well, Red Zone, they've been gifted one.
Yeah, this is a really, really good gift for them. It's kind of on the northwestern side here, but still, they're kind of the only ones in the middle here. FaZe really have an open field push if they want to make this happen. They are the only sides. They are the only team on that side, though. They could potentially just take their cars and ram one of the trees. They still have the US there in the back. Reese, Yuki, the Plumbers here. They're trying to sneak in, but look at how many teams on the southwestern side of the map here. They're all not inside the zone, and they have to make a move. 9 teams left, 24 players alive.
Few of them will be scared to use vehicles as well, and we say that because this late on, these vehicles, you get in them, watch this will happen. Cross falls to Gent side. Reese,
oh my God,
though.
Reese.
What a spray with the AKM and the hollow point. I mean, the holographics, it works so well up close and personal when you get on the AKM.
I think the only hollow gun I like to have a hollow on is the AK.
Yeah, the field of view, the vision, it's just so good. And we know the spray is a little bit wild and windy. Several teams fall, though, while we're speaking about the little engagement, Martin. Only 18 members alive.
Yeah. And look at that. Scoom securing 7th for the guys here. Surely he must go out here. He's outside the zone. He's trying to make a move. We see them. The Knights, the Plumbers, he's dead. 6 teams left. Ewan connecting onto Reese. He's going to finish him and flush him out as well. So the Plumbers are down to 1 member. Yuki is the last player alive. Frost and the Red Zone guys, they're all alive.
As you say it, he's gone. So that's the Plumbers out in 6th. Liquid go down in 7th. Piddy's PO. Now, Mexi though onto Yuang, finish him as well. The flush comes through with the double headshot.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Team number 5 out of the zone.
That's the pan.
Buzz face. Taking some shots at Pete here. Mexi taking some shots onto Ewan here, putting him down to 5% HP. Ewan is being pushed by the zone as well. He has to make a move. He's going to get knocked. Mexi is going to finish him off as well. DC losing a member.
That's a disgusting shot. To be able to ping a face at that.
Though, because they are inside the zone.
Looks like that's going to be... I think that was a smoke.
Have the rocks in front of them there. They have all the play to do. All the other players, they are pushed on.
Empty on the side, though. He is standing strong. He'll flush one, so he'll get 12 points before he goes down. The circle, he'll opt to give himself away. At least denies them another 12 points.